Hello everyone and welcome back to my gardening and growing channel. Well, I was in the store the other day doing my grocery shopping, and of course I went into the garden section and I saw this asparagus. So it was $3.99 for 3 plants, as you can see. So I know can't actually start planting in the community garden for another few weeks, so what I decided to do was that I'm going to pot these up in the meantime and let them get a start. And the reason I'm not just keeping them in the box until then is because, well, they come in this box, and inside that box they're in these wood chip things here, and I'm pretty certain that these roots, here's what they look like when you get them. There's actually 4 in there, so I guess I got a bonus one. I don't think these roots are going to make it another few weeks. They'll probably dry out completely and not be any good, so I decided I'd pot them up in the meantime. So, and I've never done it before, so hopefully it works. I don't see why it wouldn't. So what I'm using today is Pro Mix potting mix, and that doesn't have any fertilizer in it, so I'm adding some of this organic fertilizer I have, and I'm just using this because it's what I had lying around. And as you can see, it is 3% nitrogen, 2% phosphate, and 2% potash, and that's NPK. Basically what you want is a balanced fertilizer. You don't necessarily have to use, or I shouldn't say you don't necessarily have to, you don't have to use organic fertilizer, but that's what I choose to use. Just make sure you use some type of balanced fertilizer and follow the instructions on the package so you don't overdo it. And I'm also using some worm castings, and I don't believe these are organic, but I got these on sale at the end of the year, a couple years ago. So I'm going to follow these instructions the best I can. As you can see here, it says when to plant. Plant in spring after your soil has warmed up to 50 degrees, usually 4 to 6 weeks after your last frost date. So 4 to 6 weeks after my last frost date, I'm pretty positive that these roots won't be any good. They'll be completely dried out. How to plant. Dig a trench 5 to 6 inches deep and spread out the roots in the bottom, 12 to 14 inches apart, covering with 2 inches of soil. So what I'm going to do is try to simulate the best I can while planting it in a pot. So let's see how that works. So here's the pot I'm using, just a leftover pot. I think it was from some tomato plant or something I bought last year, year before, not sure. That's the thing, just make sure you kind of recycle the things you have. It'll save you a lot of money in the long run. That's what I do. And this isn't decorative, this is just for starting up. So here's what I'm going to do. Put some soil, very heavy. Put some soil in the bottom. Pack it in a little bit on the bottom. Just pack it in on the bottom, not the whole pot. You don't want to compact the soil. And I think what I'm going to do, let me see how these fit. It'll be about 2 inches below. I think I'm just going to put it in kind of like that and fill in the soil. So I was going to build a mound, but I think this will work. I was going to build a mound to spread out the roots, but I don't think that's going to be necessary. I'll tap it down to make sure there's no air pockets in there. I'll tap it down again. Okay. There we go. I think that's pretty good. So I'll show you show you what the other ones look like when I'm done. Okay, so here's what they look like potted up. And again, these are just pots that I had lying around and I reused them. You can see I put the very small extra fourth one they gave me in this little pot. Here's the one I showed in the video. So I kind of actually adjusted it a little bit more. I pulled it up because to me this looks like one of the asparagus that grew out of the ground. So just kind of want to make sure it was sticking up through the dirt. From my experience, it's always better to plant it more shallow than more deep. Sometimes you plant something too deep, it just won't grow right. It won't even actually grow at all, it will die. So then you always want to label it, and I'm labeling just one because I know what the other four are. Put asparagus and put the date that you planted them or potted them up. Then I just wanted a few other points. Always make sure that you moisten your potting mix before you start planting, because if it's going to be super dry and it'll take you forever to water, it's always better just to moisten it up like this. It's a nice dark color like this. And you can eat, this potting soil didn't have any fertilizer in it, but if you want, you can always buy potting soil that has fertilizer in it. That's fine too. So now what I'm going to do after this is I'm going to go ahead and water them. I'm going to bottom water them, because if I water from the top, it's going to compact the soil down, and I kind of really don't want to do that. And here's how I watered in the asparagus I put into the pots here. I just put them in the tray and filled it with water and let the water absorb up into the pots. Like I've said before, the pots will get quite a bit heavier and the soil will turn a bit darker on top. One other thing, when you're buying these bare root plants in the store like that, make sure the roots are pretty flexible. If they're dried out and crumbling, there's a pretty good chance that they're dead, so always check that out before you buy them. Thank you so much for viewing my channel. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you again in the next video. Again, thank you.